Hi, uh, my name is Ray Thompson. I just want to talk about a little bit about mental health and addiction. Uh, I suffered with both roughly over 25 years. Uh, I've been in recovery now with my addiction going on almost a year. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably one of the hardest, most demanding thing I've ever had to do. And I just got out of a treatment facility here not too long ago and met a person who is pretty well known in the YouTube community, Taylor Dean. I want to say that her story is pretty remarkable in a way that she finally overcame the problem with her ex, with her addiction, and came out and been honest about everything. And that takes a lot of courage and just her doing that was amazing. Um, I know there's a lot of critics out there about her and everything, but coming from someone who knows her personally, uh, she's pretty cool, and she's a very strong, independent woman. Just like anybody in a relationship, you have you have ups and downs. I mean, I've been in numerous relationships, uh, and honestly, I could say maybe two or three out of 10 uh, lasted long. There wasn't any drug use, wasn't no abusiveness or nothing like that. I mean, it was all right. Um, my mental health had a lot to do with um, being in relationships and keeping them. I suffer with PTSD, severe social anxiety, and a mild case of Asperger's disease. If anybody knows what that means, that's I guess the closest thing I could tell you is kind of a mild case of adult form autism. Um, so that had a lot to do with a lot of the decisions that I've made in my life, right or wrong. And also coming from a very abusive family. And uh, so I try to take steps to not to allow that to really jeopardize anything that I got going on. Um, I try to help people that are in a certain circumstance that I'm in, and just try to make the best of it. Um, I mean, everybody's going to have their own opinions about people, you know, and that's fine. That's kind of why God gave you a voice to have an opinion, right? So, um, I think that people need to stop bashing people if they don't know them personally. There's a lot of things that have been said and done on social media these days that totally get taken out of proportion. And I think you really need to do your research before you start poking fun at people. Um, going back to like the Taylor thing, you know, I personally got to know her story, and you know, the only thing I could say bad about her was that she was emotionally weak in the relationship she had with this guy Johnny Craig. Um, there wasn't no accountability in that relationship. There wasn't any structure. There wasn't any um, stability. I think she let her heart uh, take over her thinking. I guess when it came to the heroin use and everything. I've never done heroin, but I've done some other drugs that are just as bad or worse. Um, and then to kind of get off my addiction, I felt like using prescription Xanax would be a better coping mechanism, but it just turned out to be worse. So again, uh, sober, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Some of the things I did when I wasn't sober, I do now. They suck, but you know, it's a lot better to being sober and clean than high and happy. So anyway, I guess I'm kind of new to this, so I don't know how many views I'll get or anything like that, but it doesn't matter. I guess I just want to go back to mental health. Mental health has a lot to do with addiction, um, because we're always trying to find something to ease some sort of pain. If it's an emotional deflect, psychological. We try anything in the world to suppress that feeling, and a lot of us use drugs. Me, me as well as I did, and to be completely honest, it made it worse. There wasn't any change when it came to what I have going on. It took, just to get me where I'm at today, it's taken, many physicians, psychiatrists, therapists, to try to find me, medication that's not narcotic to adjust, with what I have, my condition. And I'm getting there. Like I said, it's a pretty tough road. And, Taylor's going to have to she's going to go through the same thing. Just like any other addict that's trying to recover themselves and find a way to help with their mental health issues. Mine started probably back when I was 7 or 8. My dad was very abusive. I was the only child. I lost a sister when I was about 5. So I think that really made him the way he was. And around, I think I was probably 12 or 13, I was involved in a drowning accident where a girl lost her life. We were on a jet ski, and we turned around. Before I get into it, none of us were wearing life jackets. Not a very wise decision. But as we were coming back, we were probably 50, 60 yards off the bank. Here in Texas, we call them tanks. It was about an 8-acre tank, squared off. They dug it to use the dirt to build an overpass that right there by my folks' house. And so anyway, we were coming back, and I had 2 girls on there. They were sisters, and they fell off. Well, I got one of them, told her to hold on to jet ski, I'm going to go get your sister. Now, remind you, I was a little bitty kid then, and this girl probably had 100 pounds on me. So I attempted to get her, and when I found her, panic set in on her part, and she was literally doing everything she could to use me to save herself, which that's just instinct that, but I got overpowered, and it got to the point to where I had to save my life, and she lost hers. And I've dealt with that for a very long time, and it's hard, when you feel like you have to take someone else's life to save your own. But I guess after that, I don't remember much. I remember kind of like looking up. I'm underwater looking up, and I can see the sun glistening on the water. And then I remember trying to take that. I guess I took my last breath, and then I blacked out. Next thing I know, I was woken up by CPR that my mother did to me. So uh, that was pretty hard. I guess about 6 months after that, I was going to school, which in Hearne, Texas. Uh, with all respect, it was a dominantly black school, and the girl that drowned was a black girl, and her cousins and kinfolk like that really retaliated against me for that, and sad thing, I guess the only thing I really got from the abuse and the fights and everything from that was growing tough skin and uh, basically standing up for myself. But that really took a toll on me as far as my social anxiety, because I mean for years I didn't talk. I didn't really want to communicate with anybody. I would get this extreme nervousness that anytime I got around somebody, even if I known you all my life, you know it 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 was really hard to come out of my shell, and I still battle with that today at 37 years old. Um, because I guess I never really had a voice growing up. I was always told what to say, how to say it, when to say it, and kind of led to what I'm got going on right now. But and that's what really opened the door for drugs. Um, I guess it started off about 16, marijuana, alcohol. Um, 17 years old, I moved out, graduated early, moved to Houston with my aunt and uncle, and got kicked out of their apartment and moved into a motel room in the south side of Houston, and got introduced to crack. Yeah. And boy, that took me for a ride for about 4 or 5 years. And, uh, that led me to not only incarceration, prison, but led me to want to commit suicide. Oh, where's my kitty? His name is Yeti. Well, he's gone now. He wants in. So, uh, yeah. And, led me to suicide. And I thought about it numerous times and attempted it. Um, but, lucky that I'm still here. So, I guess my biggest message is that everybody has baggage and everybody has problems. I don't think that trying to talk about it on social media is the right thing. But if it can help one person, then that one person can help 100. And I just want to say that, no matter if you are an addict, if you're not, you're still a human being. And you still have feelings, you still have emotions. And just take kindly about what you say about people that are going through these struggles, because those insults are things that can make them relapse. I mean, we're weak, we need positive influences, and we need people that, um, even if you don't respect us, and even if you don't like us, just the smallest, simplest compliment could really touch somebody in need like that. So, my name is Ray Thompson. Like I said, I'm new to this, so I hope y'all have a great day, and God bless.